time to choose your dreams. Pretty soon you look around and you see 100 years ain't what it used to be. And my grandpa Roy, when he was a boy in 1904, he was taught by men who fought in the actual Civil War. And only 8 decades passed and my high school class put the tassels on the other side. Started on our way full of naivete on the great American ride. The months and years slide past, each more quickly than the last. Pretty soon you look around and you'll see 100 years ain't what it used to be. Oh, Johnny!
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, Johnny Heidt. Oh, yeah.
He did the guitar face.
Ibuprofen's under buy again in my online shopping cart. Every week I learn of something else I should be doing for my heart. If I use the wrong pillow, I might have trouble getting out of bed. My hair grows in my ears and nose now more than on my head. As a kid, to me, ancient history was something like World War I. But I arrived close to that time than this year as I sing this song. And I'm starting to find I can wrap my mind around life is brief and dear. I can hardly believe my baby girl's turned 26 this year. Oh, little while it seems you got time to choose your dreams. Pretty soon you look around and you'll see everybody 100 years ain't what it used to be. Before you know it, you're 63, making plans for Medicare A and B. You look around yourself and you see 100 years ain't what it used to be.
breaks through to the general public. Maybe they'll see a headline. I've seen some headlines, top 3 takeaways or top 5 takeaways from the Walz Ellison hearing. And it's interesting to me as somebody who's been involved in investigating these cases for all these years. There's always some new detail that comes out that I hadn't been aware of. Whether that's worth 5 hours of hearing time in the state U.S. Capitol, I don't know, but it's always interesting to me. Some new detail that comes out about the cases, something that I hadn't heard before, or somebody putting 2 and 2 together.
Let's get to that new detail. You have a piece in today's on the American Experiment site today, and you preface it by writing this. There are probably fewer than 100 people in America who would understand the importance of a 47-second exchange during today's marathon 4-hour and 20-minute U.S. House Oversight Committee hearing at the Capitol. But the brief sequence gets to the heart of Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison's nonfeasance, malfeasance, or feasance in regard to the multi-billion-dollar welfare frauds plaguing the state. Explain that for us, that 47 seconds that you would describe, I bet, as a new detail that you've become alerted to.
Yeah, and so it came almost 2.5 hours into this 4-hour hearing, and it was a congressman from Tennessee. It's a Congressman Burchett of Tennessee, represents the 2nd District. And he was asking Ellison specifically about 2 other nonprofits involved in that free food scandal. Mm-hmm. And he mentioned them by name, and they are partners, and everyone's heard of Feeding Our Future. That's the scandal. Feeding Our Future took $250 million, didn't really feed many kids with it. And he asked about 2 other nonprofits, and they were Partners in Nutrition, who did business as Partners in Quality Care, and the other one was called Gargar Family Services, also known as Youth Leadership Academy. Kind of getting into the weeds here, but these were 2 other nonprofits.
Of which there were many under the umbrella of Feeding Our Future.
Well, yeah, but these were 2 of the biggest ones.
Right.
And in fact, added together, they're bigger than Feeding Our Future itself. It's like more than $300 million associated with these 2 other nonprofits.
All right.
And he asked Keith Ellison what he did, if anything, about these 2, and Keith made a very interesting comment. He said, well, why didn't you prosecute them? And he claims he couldn't, but he said they may yet be. So I thought that was real news, that we have these 2 other nonprofits that we've known about for years that have never been charged in the case. And when asked a specific question about it, he held out the idea that these 2 other nonprofits might still be prosecuted. And I had not ever heard that from any government official, that these other nonprofits. So that would more than double the size of the scandal if they went after these other 2. No guarantee they will, but it's kind of interesting. I think everybody kind of feels like the Feeding Our Future one is played out, that we've heard the last of it. Yeah, there are a few defendants who have yet to be sentenced in the case, but we're kind of done with that. And then here's Keith Ellison, of all people, talking about these 2 other food nonprofits, and he said they may yet be prosecuted. So I kind of took a little something away from that exchange.
Well, what you took away from it is they couldn't be prosecuted, correct?
Well, that's so bizarre, because he claims, this is Keith Ellison, he was asked a direct question by Congressman Burchett. He said, well, why didn't you prosecute them? And I said, he said, I can't. Mm-hmm. Which directly contradicted a bunch of other sworn testimony he had given in the 2 hours before, where it came out that, yes, he has power to prosecute frauds other than Medicaid fraud. Everybody, including Keith, acknowledges he could go after Medicaid fraud, which is a federal program, but he can go after it as a state prosecutor. And then he had to concede a couple of times earlier in the hearing that, yes, as a state prosecutor, he can go after frauds involving federal dollars other than Medicaid. And he admitted that. And then it seemed odd in this exchange with the Tennessee congressman that all of a sudden he's back to, I can't prosecute that.
Because that would be double jeopardy.
Well, that's my theory, but my colleague at Scott Scott Johnson at Powerline kind of wrote a follow-up post to mine and laid out, no, they can't really claim this is double jeopardy, and he lays out the legal. But, again, I'm trying to understand why Keith Ellison, he is supposed to be not just the chief legal officer of Minnesota, but specifically has been given the portfolio to regulate all nonprofits, all charities in the state. His office is in charge of regulating nonprofits, and Feeding Our Future, Partners in Nutrition, Gargar are all nonprofits. And he didn't do anything to prosecute Feeding Our Future. And he filed a lawsuit, and this is the point of my piece, filed a lawsuit against these other nonprofits, including those two, and didn't really ask for anything. Didn't ask for money back. He didn't ask for them to cease and desist. He just said, hey, stop doing that thing you've already stopped doing. Mm-hmm. And I was struggling to find, why. What was the point of taking taxpayer dollars to file these lawsuits when you're not accomplishing anything with it?
Have you ever wondered why Ellison gave up a congressional seat to return here and run for Attorney General? And then I'll continue once you answer that question. Have you ever wondered that, just for the hell of it?
Sure. I've wondered, because he was the congressman from Minneapolis.
Yeah, he's the 5th district.
For life.
Yeah.
That once you're in, just like Ilhan Omar, once you're in, there's really no chance for you to lose again. You could be there for 30 years if you wanted to be. And then the Attorney General, you're not guaranteed a job. You got to run for re-election every 4 years, and his last election he barely won.
Well, I have nowhere to go with this, but I wonder if some sort of truth has been staring us in the face for 7 years. On January 7th, 2019, Walz took office for the first term. On January 7, 2019, the victorious Keith Ellison took office as Attorney General. He was replaced in Congress, representing the 5th District, by Ilhan Omar. I have nowhere to go with that, but it's one hell of a coincidence that that's when now you can make the argument that this state has suffered some fraud for the last 50 years, but the fraud since 2019 has been so large and so widespread that it appears to be organized in some fashion. And I don't know where to go with this, but Ellison and Walz take office the same day, and in Washington, 4 days previously, Ilhan Omar took office. Where I have nowhere to go with that.
Well, it's true. I don't think anybody would dispute the fact that Ilhan Omar was Keith Ellison's hand-picked successor. Mm-hmm. That he had backed her run for the state legislature earlier, and that when he decided, for whatever reason, maybe he just got bored of being a backbench congressman. The lifestyle is not that great. You got to fly out and back twice a week. It's kind of a crappy lifestyle. But yeah, he gave up a safe seat for a seat that's not so safe, and I think he probably even gets less salary than he did as a congressman, as Attorney General. It's not a hugely lucrative profession, at least in terms of government salary. But yeah, these are three of the people most prominent in the fraud scandals, are Omar, Ellison, because both of those took huge campaign donations from these fraudsters. And of course, Tim Walz, because he presided over the whole thing as governor. And in fact, you mentioned organized crime. That's a phrase that Tim Walz himself has used to describe these fraud scandals. He says that we have organized crime going on in Minnesota, and this organized crime has been behind these multi-billion-dollar Medicaid and food frauds that have been going on under the watch of Tim Walz. So if there's organized crime, you really think that the Attorney General of all people would be interested in this? If you've got any kind of other ambitions in life as a politician, busting up an organized crime ring would go a long way to getting you there.
Well, what if you were part of it?
Well, it's interesting. Rudy Giuliani, he was a federal prosecutor in New York City and busted a bunch of organized crime activity in New York, mm-hmm. and rode that to become mayor of New York and all kinds of other high positions. But yeah, again, we've all heard the audio recording, the 54 minutes of Keith Ellison meeting with the Feeding Our Future fraudsters, pledging his support for them in taking on the Department of Education. He took $15,000 in campaign donations from feeding our future fraudsters, including a couple of people who were in the room that day when he had that meeting with them. So, he's certainly involved in it, but, he over and over, they fooled me, he told the congressman yesterday. They fooled me. I was duped by them. Our sophisticated, hard-bitten lawyer and prosecutor had the wool pulled over his eyes by these fraudsters. And he's a victim as much as anyone.
Where do we go? What do we need to either arrest these three? I'm saying three: Walz, Ellison, and Omar, or shut up finally because they're innocent. Could Amy Bach be offered some sweetheart sentencing deal if she would spill the beans?
Well, it's interesting. She hasn't been sentenced yet. She's been convicted on all counts in her trial last year. She hasn't been sentenced yet. And it was her lawyer. That's the person I got that audio recording from. Her lawyer was going to introduce the Keith Ellison audio recording as evidence in the case of the higher-ups knew. And, he in the end, he didn't get it into evidence in front of the jury, but he gave it to me, and I published it at our website. And, it's got picked up. They talked about it many times yesterday in that congressional hearing. And there was it was a video of Congresswoman Ilhan Omar that she made inside the Safari restaurant while the fraud was going on. So the fraud had already started. She made this video. Unfortunately, the audio for that video, she's speaking in the Somali language. So unless you know the language, you can't say exactly what she's saying. But the translation has come out that she's talking about this provision that she put in a bill that passed Congress that loosened up the regulations for the free food program.
Was that the Meals Act?
The Meals Act. She's bragging that she made it easier for people like Safari restaurants
she did,
to participate because restaurants weren't allowed to participate independently. So she's bragging that she was able to enable the Safari restaurant participating in the food program. She knew the owners of the restaurant. She had held rallies and campaign events in their facility. They also have an events facility. And, of course, the principals of that were all convicted in the food fraud. So she knew these people. She took campaign donations from these people. Is this something that a prosecutor could use, to go against her? There's all kinds of stuff being said, but, I'll believe it when I see it. I'll believe it when an indictment is handed down.
What would it take for an indictment to be handed down?
Well, you have to show some sort of quid pro quo that she, introduced the Meals Act in exchange for campaign donations or some consideration. And the same with the other two, that they committed an official act, that is with Ellison, that he did, in fact, go to bat for them with the Department of Education, or the governor.
He did. We know that he did.
And so, but you gotta link A to B. That I went to bat for you for the Department of Education. Therefore, now you give me $15,000 in campaign donation. It's got to be a direct link, and you got to have the smoking gun. We have coincidental evidence. I have the timeline. Everybody acknowledges the timeline. There's no dispute about it. But where the dispute is, was there a deal? Was there an agreement? You say, I will do this, and you will do that. And that, as close as we came in the audio recording, I don't know if we're quite there.
Bill, I was looking into earlier today just what she was up to in 2020 in Washington.
That's her first year there.
Yeah, and in addition to the Meals Act, she either authored, co-authored, or was a part of other bills regarding coronavirus and COVID that went through, including the Suspending School Meals Debt Act, the Coronavirus Emergency Non-Congregate Housing Act, the Pandemic Protection Act. Here's one I really like, the Coronavirus Economic Relief for Transportation Services Act, and the Pandemic Child Hunger Prevention Act. I haven't had time to read all of those. I'm just looking up things she was involved with in 2020. Found it interesting.
Yeah, well, you ticked off a bunch of the other fraud-ridden programs that we have in Minnesota.
Yeah.
So again, she took campaign donations from those folks at Safari Restaurant and other of the fraudsters, and she certainly performed official acts that helped them out. But was there some sort of quid quo? Was there an agreement? Because she and Keith Ellison will say that, hey, I was just helping out constituents. Constituents brought to me problems, and I helped solve those problems. And if they were generous enough to give campaign donations, I don't deal with that. That's my campaign treasurer. I don't know what goes on in terms of my campaign account. I don't believe that, but again, where's the evidence? And there was a lot of talk yesterday in that congressional hearing about Tim Walz and why the Walz administration restarted payments to those food fraudsters that they knew were fraudsters, that they knew these folks were ripping the program off. They had stopped payments for them, but for whatever reason, there's never been a good explanation. They restarted the payments.
Well, the judge
Joe has that.
Guthman did not order the repayments to start.
Yes.
He's been lied about.
He's been very clear, and it was great that I think more than one congressman read aloud the judge's order and the judge's press release. Judges never put out press releases. No,
and the world he had to work in to get that letter out, he had to go to the highest superiors in the state in law enforcement, in judicial circles, and say, I really want to write this letter. I'm being portrayed as someone who was ordered these payments to start again, and he was given permission. By all means, please release that letter.
Yeah, and he did. His order was unambiguous. His press release was ambiguous, speaking about the judge. But as recently as yesterday, Tim Walz was telling Congress that, there was ambiguity about the judge's order.
See, he's been getting away with that, and that's a lie. There has been no ambiguity.
He wasn't getting away with it yesterday.
No.
So, again, what amazes me about watching, you said, well, what benefit do we get from these sort of hearings? Another benefit I think the public gets from it is seeing people like Walz and Ellison with all of the defenses stripped away. So they're not in front of some local media person who's throwing them softball questions and lets them just go on filibustering the answers. The congressmen and congresswomen who were interrogating the two really showed them to be the lightweights that they are. When they're confronted with facts and they're not allowed to dodge and they're not allowed to filibuster or change the subject, they have nothing. They have no defense. So it was interesting that time and again, Walz and Ellison were confronted with statements they've made or actions they've taken and called to account, which doesn't happen here in Minnesota. That media don't push them. They don't ask follow-up questions. They're allowed to get away with just having their press releases quoted. But, yesterday they had to raise their right hand, swear to tell the truth, and withstand the facts being thrown back at them. And I didn't think they acquitted themselves well.
I didn't
they were
either.
shown to be the second-rate talents that they are.
No, you're not done, Joe.
Yeah.
Something I wanted to run by you, Bill. It happened in the House here in Minnesota a couple of weeks ago, House File 3423, the bill that aims to expand the Attorney General's power to prosecute Medicaid fraud. Are you familiar with this?
I'm not familiar. I'm familiar with the Attorney General's powers, but I'm not familiar with that one particular.
It sounds good on the surface. And I'll just give you a quick overview. The lawmakers are considering what they call the Medical Assistance Protection Act, which proposes to increase funding and authority for the Attorney General's office to combat fraud. What it really does is it gives the Attorney General $1.23 million annually to boost the staff from 32 to 50. That's what the bill does.
Well, again, this would be good if he used those extra staff to go prosecute Medicaid fraudsters. But if he's going to use his staff to, file more lawsuits against Donald Trump, and what we really need is a new Attorney General. Boy. So if a new Attorney General has that budget money to spend next year, 2027, it could be a good thing. But Keith has had 7+ years to prove that he's up to the job, and he hasn't.
Well, he's going after Fleet Farm, and he went after those bars that dared to sell a drink during the pandemic.
Yeah. Somebody threw out a bar of soap that probably poisoned a swamp.
Yeah, so it's just amazing. And again, he has this Medicaid fraud unit. This has been part of his office from before he was Attorney General. It's been around for a long time, and they've done some good work, whether he's been the Attorney General or not. But it's just amazing. I guess it's the other month now, a few months ago, they had gotten a jury conviction of a guy for stealing $7 million from Medicaid. Convicted of a felony in court, $7 million, and a state judge threw out the verdict.
Mm-hmm.
You think you finally cracked the code. Oh, Keith Ellison's prosecutors got a big win in court, snatched away by some Democrat-appointed judge who had to substitute her judgment for the 12 jurors who reached a unanimous verdict. They heard the testimony, they reached the conclusion, and she said, "Nah, they got it wrong." Mm-hmm. And I think that Keith Ellison and his prosecutors are appealing that, but it goes, what do you got to do? What do you got to do to make any progress in this area?
We'll trust that you'll stay with it, and we'll always be in touch.
All right. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks, Bill. Bill Glahn is with the American Experiment. Right now, if you go to the American Experiment, americanexperiment.org, you can see one of their more recent campaigns, which is trying to unleash the idea of let's get some more affordable, reliable energy in Minnesota. Your electric bill is climbing. Businesses are getting squeezed. The competitive edge in our mining and manufacturing sectors is disappearing, all because of nothing but feel-good legislation that accomplishes nothing. We can't produce nuclear power plants, for example. They happen to be the cleanest, safest, and most reliable carbon-free energy on Earth, but a new state law puts a gag order on nukes. Let's not repeat the failure. Go to americanexperiment.org and hit Take Action. Tell your representative it's time to free the nukes and fully restore reliable, affordable energy in Minnesota. 10 minutes.
Hi, Mike.
It's actually 7.5.
It's the end of the world as we know it, and he feels fine. Joe Souchere.
It's Play for Patrick Positive Thursday and the Minnesota State High School Tournament time, brought to us by Schoonover Body Works and Auto Care right there in Shoreview, 1060 County Road E. All things related to Play for Patrick can be had this week in the Grand Casino Arena at the hockey tournament. Hi, Mike.
Hey, Kenny.
What do you got going on down there?
Hey, we're going to go down to the Let's Play Hockey Expo. So it's a trade show for everything hockey, and this will be our first year being down there.
Wait a minute, where is this? Where is it?
This is at the auditorium next door.
River Center.
Okay,
It's a
River Center.
It's a really good trade show with all sorts of interacting hockey stuff. It's a really good show to go to.
Oh,
Yeah, we're
that's
pretty
perfect.
excited. Yeah, we're pretty excited for it. So we're gonna share what the foundation does with folks, and then more importantly, we're gonna teach people how to do CPR and how to use an AED.
Wow, I can't. Will you accept donations? Will you accept my personal check? Or should we
We
just?
will, and we have those fancy QR codes, so you can do it right from your phone too.
Nice.
And Kenny,
Yeah.
they can also register for the upcoming Heart Screen in Monticello on April 18th.
Oh, that's very convenient. So, what times? We're starting when? Obviously, not today yet.
No, we're going to go down there and set up today, and then tomorrow it's I think from 10 to 6, and then Saturday I think it's 10 to 5, something like that. So, GLers, if you're in the neighborhood, stop on by and say hey.
Yeah, if there's a break in the action, stroll over there, go in and say hi and check it out. I am assuming you're going to be there live and in person.
I will. Not that means anything, but yeah, I'll be there.
Mike, you know what I found to be the biggest surprise when you're teaching somebody how to do the defibrillator? They walk away and go, I can't believe how easy it is. So if you get a chance to go down there, I would go and if it'll take you 30 seconds and you walk away going, I know how to do that now.
Exactly. Yeah. So we're hoping that we can teach a lot of people and get some people to practice. So should be a fun weekend, and obviously it's one of the greatest weekends in the year with the high school hockey tournament. It's just so exciting to be down in St. Paul.
Mike, do you need me to run down there and teach mouth to mouth? I can do mouth to mouth.
Yuck.
I'm really good at mouth to mouth.
Ew.
Come on down, Kenny. And you know what? I bet you Joe would join you.
I just like saying mouth to mouth.
I got a really bad
I
mental
would
picture.
show up, but not anything to do with touching anybody.
Come on, Joe, mouth to mouth, baby.
No.
Meanwhile,
All right, I look forward to seeing you guys.
Yeah.
anything you might need related to your auto, it can be had right at Schoonover Body Works and Auto Care. They are the official shop of GL, and now the Krabby Coffee Shop, too, and always rated as one of the top Metro shops. SchoonoverBodyWorks.com, the website. Thank you, Mike. Good luck.
Thanks, Kenny. Thanks, boys. Have a great positive Thursday.
Thank you. Well, Bill Glahn is a student of the fraud, as are we. And I don't know what we need. We need indictments, but in order to have the indictments, more digging would have to be done to find out if there were agreements.
We need a translation of that video that Amy provided of Omar at that meeting.
But what happens if you do get that? Is it going to be thrown out just like the like Bill referred to?
Not if you can establish that it constituted an agreement.
Okay.
But I don't. I think the truth has been staring us in the face for a long time. You can make the argument that fraud has existed in Minnesota for 50 years.
Yeah.
But I would submit to you that for the first 40 years, it was almost the cost of doing business. A lot of stuff falls off the back of the truck or comes in through the window.
That's a very good way of putting it.
It just happens, and the amounts of money were not mind-boggling. Beginning in 2019, the amounts of money have become mind-boggling to the point where Joe Thompson, prior to his resignation, said every agency in the state potentially is rife with fraud. Well, so for 7 years, this has been the case. And on January 7th, 2019, Walz took office. On January 7th, 2019, Ellison took office. 4 days prior to that, Omar slid into Ellison's seat, representing the 5th Congressional District in Washington. For all I know, they're all saints. They're going to be canonized. Well, not if you're Muslim. But they're going to be canonized as good people who have only had the interests of their constituents at heart. I personally do not believe that, but I cannot indict them. I have no proof that they arrange quid pro quo agreements with the fraudsters. But I do think the fraud is so big.
How big is it?
It's so big that it had to have people in positions of power to enable it to continue. It could not, none of this could have been specifically by accident. This wasn't money that fell off the truck as the cost of doing business. This was a concerted, organized effort to steal the state of Minnesota blind, and it was successful and continues to be. I don't know where to go with that. I except bring you people like Bill Glahn and bring you others. I don't know what to tell you, except we're all naive to think that this is something that should be brushed under the rug. And don't fall for the Walz trick of continually trying to deflect this onto Trump. He tried it yesterday, where he said, well, this ice surge disrupted our efforts. The ice surge might have come to town claiming they were coming by fraud, but that they weren't. Get over it, Walz. Trump has nothing to do with the fraud that's been taking place in Minnesota since 2019. Nothing. So that doesn't work to try to hope that and in Minnesota there are many prematurely gray-haired 42-year-old morons who believe that, well, if you're against fraud in Minnesota, it must be because you're pro-Trump. That's not the case. The fraud in Minnesota is unique and distinct and completely separate from whoever happened to get elected president in the last election. It has nothing to do with it. This took place in 2019 and has been continuing. And I don't know where to go with it. I personally don't have the staff to send out into the streets to do this. The newspapers do not appear interested. Plus, the newspapers are horribly understaffed. We're in a tough place here because I do believe that these are the people responsible.
And to make our position worse, the loss of Joe Thompson couldn't have come at a worse time. Right when we need him the most. And he was doing a lot and uncovered fraud that we haven't even heard about yet. We received a tip from Joe about some fraud that's happening that nobody even knows about yet in a division of a division that's just getting drained dry.
And there's
it's
something
ongoing right now, today.
And I blame Trump for Joe's resignation. The Trump administration came in and said, you people look the other way. You're going to have nothing to do with looking at the Renee Good situation and the Preddy situation. We'll handle it. That was too much for Thompson to take.
But wait, didn't he resign because they wanted him to investigate the fiance, or not fiance? Sorry.
And they wanted to investigate the shooting itself, and the federal government wouldn't allow that.
Correct.
Other reason, Thompson and those guys.
And so
the facts are your leadership, and really your lack of leadership, has been responsible for one of the largest ripoffs of the American taxpayer in our history. And you traded, I believe, political expediency, the currency of political expediency, for your integrity. And, Mr. Chairman, I don't know if you know this, but it's been widely reported that in 2008, when Barack Obama was choosing his vice presidential candidate, he had 3 criteria. He wanted to make sure he picked somebody that wasn't as smart as him and had less talent and charisma and couldn't possibly outshine him. So he picked Joe Biden. And then Joe Biden in 2020 used the exact same criteria. He wanted to make sure he picked somebody who wasn't as smart as him, had less talent and charisma, and wouldn't outshine him. And he picked Kamala Harris. And then in 2024, Governor, I think it's very evident why Kamala Harris picked you. The talent pool.
It's funny, but it's not getting us anywhere.
You're right.
It's not getting us anywhere. So that's today's fraud report.
Here's today's
fraud report.
Sports hero God. Speaking of that, Lou Holtz died.
Yeah, well, you got to die sometime.
Okay, good note.
Anyway,
what's coming up on the ride?
Were we talking about him off the air yesterday?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yes.
He had a good run, 89.
89's not a bad run.
And he had that mysterious "but for Notre Dame" clause in his contract. He could. I'm going to be here forever, except for that Notre Dame clause.
On the ESPN story they ran online, they did have his photo with the inside the dome, which I thought was interesting.
Why?
Why would they pick that photo?
Oh, I don't know. Well, he was only
coached
here for
freaking Notre Dame.
Well, I know, but he only. Well, Chris, who had the photo? Which paper?
Jesus, I didn't think it was that big of a curveball.
No, I'm going to straighten you out. Who had the
ESPN ran a story online,
ESPN,
and they used a stock photo of him at the Dome as the Gopher coach, which I thought was interesting.
If it was a local outlet, I would have assumed it was because that's when he was here. But you're telling me that it was an ESPN, and
that's why I found
it's a side issue we don't need to get into. That's fine.
Okay. Do you want to take a time out there, boss?
Yeah, to stab you in the heart.
What did I do?
Well, anyway.
Yeah, here we go.
No, that's it, folks. There's nothing more we can do except read the tea leaves and point people in the right direction, and I don't know what it's going to take. I don't know what it will take. I have to review what Glahn was telling us about the judge who threw out the guilty verdict on a guy who ripped off $7 million. That's a new one to me. What day? Will you look that up, please?
We talked about that.
I'm sure we did, but Chris, I'm not remembering it, and I'd like it. I'd like the story printed for me.
All right, what is it?
So if you can find it, I'd like that story.
Guy that fraud.
Yeah. Take a break if you want.
Guy that wanted fraud.
I'd like to point you in the direction of North American Banking Company.
Speaking of dotting your I's and crossing your T's, there's no fraud there. They know what they're doing.
Thank you.
Yep.
North American Banking Company has been creating a better banking experience since 1998. And you know what? Way back when, they decided to create a better banking experience for their customers where you get to know your banker, but they also get to know you. They get to know your family, and they also get to know your business. And you know what? You get that feeling anytime that you walk into any one of their 6 Twin Cities locations, whether it's 50th in France, Woodbury, Hastings, Shoreview, Maple Grove, and also in Roseville. They offer the same updated online and mobile banking tools as all of those other big national banks, whether you're looking to buy a home, perhaps finance a new home renovation project, or get that new car that you've been thinking about. Their experts make it so convenient and also extremely easy. But see it for yourself. Check them out online today. It's nabankco.com to learn more. Once again, it's banking done differently. North American Banking Company, member FDIC, is an equal housing lender.
The Earth is not your mother. The Joe Souchere Show.
Me? Yeah, me.
Yeah.
It's happening right now. The sports show, the Northwest Sports Show. It's presented by Furniture and Things. It's at the Minneapolis Convention today through Sunday. This is your chance to see the largest annual outdoor show, all under one roof. The outdoors, indoor. It's bringing together everything: fishing, boating, hunting, camping, outdoor adventure, you name it. It's massive. Over 600 exhibitors, tons of gadgets, gear, brand new stuff, boats. You can compare a Crestliner to a Glastron. Do those two names even exist in the boat world? I don't know. I will tell you one thing. Boats like my pontoon, the cirrhosis of the liver, D's nuts, you ain't going to see crap like that at this show. It's only the best. And it's the best place to plan your upcoming season. A wonderful chance to compare brands. Things to do for all ages. Seminars where pros share walleye, muskie tips, plus sessions on new gear and technology. It's all there. Tons of RVs. Get those tickets before you go down there. I imagine they're right there on your phone, so you just flash your phone, right? Go to northwestsportshow.com. Get those tickets now. northwestsportshow.com.
Ken, I have a question about that, Ken. They did
no further questions.
They did a live shot on Fox 9 this morning that was super cool from there.
Yeah.
What are those things called that look like a fishing boat, but it almost has like the front end of it is like a deck with almost like a balcony look to it?
Oh,
I don't fish.
That's for bow fishing, like carp and rough fish at
Coolest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
I almost want to buy one just to put it in a pond so I can sit in it. It was the coolest thing ever. Kenny, I'm listening to you, unlike the rest of the people in this room.
I'm actually more interested in what they're laughing at than what you're talking about.
I've been bitching at Rookie for 10 minutes to turn his
dressing me
phone
down to
off,
turn my phone
and it's
off.
my phone in my back pocket.
Whoops.
It was fun.
I'm sorry if you were offended.
I wasn't offended.
I'm not offended.
People,
I think Grievers is offended.
I'm not offended at all.
Were you guys talking while we were doing
be
that?
quiet.
I'm in don't give an F mode right now.
Are you Friday mode already?
How's that any different from any other day?
I'm not.
Wow.
I'm so angry about this fraud that I'm not comporting myself very well. It's so terribly obvious to me what's happened in this state.
Well,
and it's so disappointing that nothing's been done about it.
You've got to have proof, my friend.
Do you have a prediction as to what will happen, or will it
I
just
have
always
not.
be
I
ongoing?
do not. I do not have a prediction.
You don't think we'll get to the bottom of it?
I don't think so.
Wow.
It's our version of the Epstein files.
And you know what?
Nothing's going to happen.
I just realized, since we're held to a higher standard, given our lawyers upstairs, if one person tells us what happened, we're going to need somebody else to confirm it. We need at least two people to confirm that stuff.
It's almost the way the government treats UFO information. They believe that the public couldn't handle it. I think the fraud is so vile in Minnesota that they're getting away with, we can't really reveal it because the public couldn't handle it. To realize how poor we are because of the money they're stealing.
It's going to take whistleblowers, Joe. We're going to need a bunch of whistleblowers.
Why hasn't there been already, Kenny? That's
There's
what my
been a
question
bunch,
is.
There's been a bunch, and they've been
ignored.
They've been quieted.
They haven't named names. That's the problem.
It comes down to voter ID.
It wouldn't bother me a bit if you went to Amy Bach and said, you could spend the rest of your life on a Pacific island. We'll pay for it. Just tell us everything you know, because it'll be cheaper for us in the long run than supporting you on the Pacific island.
Grant her immunity is what you're saying?
Something has got...
Okay, that sounds good, Perry Mason.
Here's Heidt.
No, but you're right. It almost has to become a Sopranos style, hey, we'll grant you immunity. You got to tell us the scoop here.
What world are you guys living in?
A world where you go to Amy Bach and cut a deal.
Yeah, she would.
That's the world I'm living in. What world are you in? What are you going to do about it?
Well, I'm going to go out coyote hunting as soon as this is done.
Maybe you could run down to the convention
The convention, yeah.
The convention.
You invented a new word during your ad. You said all this Northwest Sports Show is at the convention.
Yeah.
Did I say that?
That's what started the tirade in this room.
Then Rookie's phone kept going off, only it wasn't Rookie's phone.
I said, can't be my phone. It's up my ad.
Tell
How
me
do I
what-
spell that?
Tell
There's
me-
a UE in there, right? Convention.
You know what?
Sure.
Tell me more about the monkey bunkhouse.
No.
Oh, my gosh.
John Height's news, no more.
Since you guys, one more thing. Since you guys keep coming up with these,
Your turn,
silly
John.
ways to take care of all this that aren't going to work, I'll tell you mine. Here's what we need to do.
Here we go.
Get rid of every elected official in the United States and start over.
I'm with you.
I'm on board.
I'm
Hey,
on
that will
board.
work. Kenny,
I
that
am
will
on
work, right?
board. I'm
The
on
problem
board.
with that is it's going to take elected officials to okay getting rid of elected officials.
So we can replace them with a whole new group of fraudsters.
Yeah, there you
We could do it old school, John. Tar, a rail, run them out of town.
What do you do? Do you start top
Iron
down
feather?
or bottom up, Johnny?
go. I'd start top down, of course.
Kenny's more of a bottom-up kind of guy.
Hello.
Aren't we all?
Let's move along now, shall we?
Yeah, John.
In the news, we start with a sports note that we've already mentioned. Lou Holtz, former Gopher football coach and the man who led Notre Dame to a national championship in 1988, has died at the age of 89, according to his family. In a statement released by Notre Dame, it was said Holtz died in Orlando, where he was surrounded by family. A spokesperson said a cause of death was not provided, but he had been in deteriorating health and went into hospice care last month. Immediately before he began his tenure at Notre Dame, Holtz spent 2 seasons, 1984 and 85, coaching the Minnesota Gophers. He inherited a team that went 1-10 in 1983. The next season, his first year, 1984, they were 4-7. Then in 1985, 6-5, and they earned a trip to the Independence Bowl, which they won. But at that point, Holtz had already accepted an offer to coach Notre Dame, that being his dream job.
Is there
Is to
somebody?
become
Go. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You're going to say something?
Jesus
Go ahead.
Christ.
Go ahead, Joe.
Really? Is it okay?
Yeah.
Is there somebody on Twitter named Yasher? Does anybody know that name?
Yasher, isn't he?
He's reporting that Christy Noem's been fired.
He is a media, Yasher Ali, right? I
Yeah.
believe.
He's reporting that Christy Noem has been fired.
It's certainly been rumored for the last 2 days.
Maybe you could look that up.
We're doing it.
Yeah, you guys do that while I read news, huh? In news, the appearance of ICE agents in the Twin Cities, according to local police departments, cost them a lot of money. Chief Brian O'Hara informed city council members in Minneapolis that police services cost the city over $5.2 million in January, the majority of that being overtime expenses. During the 12-week peak immigration enforcement period, over 50,000 911 calls made to police. More than 500 shifts were extended, over 1,000 off days canceled for officers. It also said 9 officers were injured, 14 filed for PTSD, and 8 retired. All of the above leading to further overtime costs for the department that's exceeded its own overtime expense record for the last few years. Last year, the department exceeded the budget by $19 million, mostly due to $31 million spent on overtime. Asked what officer overtime cost the city during a typical month last year, the chief said, "I would anticipate a little over $2 million for this particular time of year, not $5 million. It spikes depending on what's happening during the year, but it's certainly unprecedented to have that much overtime in January." Asked if police could have done more to intervene or report concerning behavior by immigration agents, O'Hara said, "To my knowledge, no." Some suburbs like Brooklyn Park, Apple Valley, Robbinsdale, Hopkins, and others also reporting huge spikes in costs due to the ICE agents being there. They cite overtime and the cost of moving vehicles that were left when ICE detained people.
The Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem is leaving the department and being replaced by Senator Markwayne Mullin, a Republican out of Oklahoma. President Trump announced a short time ago.
So she was one of Trump's stooges, but she didn't stooge. She screwed up her stooging.
Right.
Yeah.
Mullen's probably not going to make the other side very happy either. He's a very conservative fellow, shall we say.
Well, nothing wrong with being conservative if you do the job correctly.
Just read up on Mr. Mullen.
All right.
A man involved in the plot to bribe a juror in the first Feeding Our Future trial, remember that, has been sentenced to almost 5 years in prison, followed by a year on supervised release. Abdul Karim Farah entered a guilty plea to bribery of a juror in April. One count of conspiracy to bribe a juror and one count of corruptly influencing a juror were dismissed at sentencing. According to court documents, Farah surveilled the juror and their house. He also drove co-defendant Laden Ali to the house to deliver the bribe and recorded a video of her dropping off the cash with the juror's relative. The relative told investigators Ali had promised more money if the defendants were acquitted at trial. When prosecutors told the judge about the bribery attempt, Farah tried to delete evidence from his phone while he was in the courtroom.
John, speaking of sentencing, do you have Dylan Adams in your news?
I have it the next story, as a matter of fact.
Wasn't that timing is
Look
perfect.
at that. It's like Karnak. Huh?
Remember, Dylan is the fella, the Minnesota Department of Human Services employee who keyed multiple Teslas in Minneapolis last year. Well, we found out now, it turns out, for doing that from the Department of Human Services, he received a 1-day unpaid suspension.
Ooh, that's harsh.
Yeah, how do you come back from that?
That's
How do you
harsh.
bounce back?
That is harsh.
Letter obtained by 5 Eyewitness News from DHS shows that Adams was issued a 1-day unpaid suspension, which he served January 22nd. The letter shows he was allowed to return to work the next day. DHS said in a statement to a question from 5 Eyewitness News, "We expect employees through their words and actions to hold themselves to the highest standards of honesty, integrity, and ethical behavior. A careful review of the facts in this case determined this employee's actions seriously undermined public trust and violated our code of ethics. As a result, the employee was suspended for 1 day without pay."
They throw that in his permanent file then, too?
Look at. There's no getting around the anger that people should be feeling about the way this state works. You know why? It doesn't work. The state does not work.
Well, to back that up, it was Mary Moriarty who dropped the charges.
He has no criminal charge whatsoever.
Well,
And this is after his moron boss, Walz, was out on the on the Chautauqua stage doing his vaudeville act, complaining about Tesla and how the stock prices are going down and how much he enjoyed it because the idiot didn't know that most retirement funds in Minnesota for public employees held a great deal of Tesla stock. You
can't link. You can't link.
I second every weird sound you just made.
Yeah.
The story is
Totally. Yep.
not adding to your mood for the day, is it, Joe?
No.
Adams was arrested back in 2025. He vandalized 6 Teslas. Keying the vehicles caused about $21,000 in damage. After his arrest, as Kenny said, Hennepin County Attorney Mary Moriarty decided not to file charges against him, referring him to an adult diversion program. Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara, when the drop charges were announced, said his officers were frustrated at Moriarty's decision not to pursue charges against Adams.
The state doesn't work anywhere you look. It just doesn't work.
And Shakopee-based amusement park Valley Fair has been sold, along with 6 other parks, to a real estate investment trust
for about $6.
Yeah, a couple magic beans and a Snickers and a Coke.
A little more than that. Six Flags announced the sale to EPR Properties in a deal valued at $342 million for the parks. EPR will partner.
That's nothing to sneeze at.
I stand corrected.
EPR will partner with Enchanted Parks to run Valley Fair, and all current park employees are expected to be transitioned to the new company. Companies say Valley Fair will continue operating as normal through this season. All passes and memberships will be honored. Valley Fair opened back in 1976, operates more than 75 rides, roller coasters, and other attractions on 125 acres in Shakopee. Opening weekend this year set for May 9th.
Serious question.
I had to do my duty and go there a few times. It's a 6th ring of hell.
I was just going to say, serious question. Name the last time you were there.
I had to do the kid crap with that. It's
So
a
it's
6th
been-
ring of
it's been
hell.
20 years for you.
20. Longer than that.
I was there the first week they opened.
Oof.
And when
In
were
front
you
of
there
like 9 people, like I was at first down.
When were you there the last time?
I'm going to guess that I was about 13,
Okay.
which would make it...
I was there last summer.
78?
It's near where I live, and I can tell you right now, they got some issues.
Really?
Yeah.
All I remember is some kid.
Unaccompanied youth is their biggest problem.
Some kid threw up in the line ahead of us, and all I remember is that the product used to sop up the stuff is called mishap.
I love that.
That's a great euphemism. Get that bucket of mishap.
Joe, my last trip there involves a bit of Americana. It was from up here.
Marijuana.
And 4 of us kids rode in the back of a pickup box.
Oh my God!
The whole way there, freeway, all the way there and back. We sat in the back of the pickup.
That was better than any ride you got at Valley Fair.
I'll never forget it. And then I have a story about what happened when we got there, but I think I
Save it for next week.
Off the air.
Here's Kenny.
Hey,
Here they come, Redcon 169.
Actually, I can clean it up. I'm sitting on a park bench by the old the old roller,
High roller.
What's it called? The roller coaster.
Yeah, high roller.
And my buddies are egging me on to go on a ride, but I told them I couldn't because across from me, a gal was sitting on a park bench, and she had 1 foot up on the bench, and her entire swimsuit area was hanging out invisible. And I just sat there for about 20 minutes looking
Don't say
at that.
hanging out. I mean,
No, Matthew, it was hanging out the entire swimsuit area, and I was obviously unable to stand up.
No, I got it. Hold on. We're not doing anything until I do this. And here's Kenny. Hold on. Here's 13-year-old soul man Kenny Olson. I'm good.
With drool coming out.
No, I don't want to go get cotton candy.
Leave me alone.
No, you guys go ahead.
Go away. Get away from me.
No, you guys go ahead. I'm just going to sit here.
I did have a Valley Fair story, but I'm not following Kenny's story. So why don't we take a quick break here and hear from Mr. Reeves?
I'm doing this picturing.
I'm leaving.
Kenny.
I don't blame
with
you.
a cig dangling from his lip going, no, you guys go ahead.
Come on. Let's go on the ride. No, I'm on my own ride
It's a
right
scene
here.
out of Sandlot or something like that.
You know who's going to appreciate this lead in?
Let's go have some roast beef.
Once
Turn off
again,
my mic.
you know who's going to
I don't want to do this.
Linda, I am terribly sorry about this lead in for
Linda.
You should have
KellerTaxService.com.
picked a different one to do.
Who in God's name was I going to pick to lead into this?
Nuts. You got nuts today?
Yeah, but
They're nuts.
that would have been a really bad
That would
lead
have
in.
been weirder.
Yeah, you're right.
Linda Keller and KellerTaxService.com. Listen up, dummies. Get on the schedule. Wow, my goodness, it's already March 5th. I got to send my stuff in, by the way. 320-352-0013 or KellerTaxService.com. How about this email? Are you guys ready? Hey, Reavers. Just a quick note to say thanks again for introducing me to Linda Keller and Keller Tax Services. We just wrapped up our 3rd year working with her after hearing about her on the air and on the podcast, and she continues to deliver. I can confidently say that she makes the entire process incredibly easy. The annual checklist keeps... You guys know your mics are on, right?
We got her.
The annual checklist keeps everything organized, and the online document submission couldn't be more convenient. I think I spent a total of 2 hours on tax prep this year, which seems borderline irresponsible, and like Kenny, I'm now patiently waiting on my federal refund just in time to square things up with the state of Minnesota. The circle of tax life continues. Like I said, KellerTaxService.com. Linda Keller is on top of your taxes even more than you are, and that's why she's the best. She's a GLer. She's winding things up because it's tax time right now. 320-352-0013 or KellerTaxService.com. Please make mention that you heard about her on the Garage Logic podcast, Johnny Heidt.
Thank you. And my stuff, Linda, will be coming to you in the next week or so.
Yeah.
I'm glad you all used the show to communicate with her. Why don't you just call her up?
She's a daily listener, you know.
The lights went off in the arena at the hockey game.
What?
Really?
Yeah.
They still off?
Fraud.
I think so.
I bet it's fraud.
Fraud.
XL Energy.
Well, it's downtown St. Paul. There's probably no electricity.
No one paid the bill.
The Grand Casino Arena, Matthew. Oh, they're back on now. Here we go.
Here we go.
In news from a national and international bent, The U.S. Senate failed to advance a war powers resolution to limit President Trump's authority to wage war with Iran, 53 voting in favor. That's short of the 60 votes that would have been needed. The vote came after Turkey said NATO forces shot down an Iranian missile headed into its airspace. Earlier in the day, the Pentagon confirmed the U.S. Navy had torpedoed an Iranian warship in the Indian Ocean near Sri Lanka. The attack late Tuesday marked the first time a U.S. submarine has downed an enemy ship since World War II. There were more than 170 people aboard the ship named the Iris Dena and nicknamed Soleimani. Remember, he was the late Iranian general killed by the U.S. in 2020. Sri Lankan authorities rescued 32 survivors. They also recovered 87 bodies. Authorities say they're still looking for the remaining bodies. Meanwhile, Iran launched a new wave of attacks against Israel and American bases and countries around the region today, while warning the U.S. would, in their words, bitterly regret torpedoing that Iranian warship. Tehran's expanding retaliatory strikes came even as Israel and the U.S. hammered Iran for the sixth day. The war has escalated each day, affecting now 14 countries across the Middle East and beyond. Israel, meanwhile, issued a mass evacuation warning for all of Beirut's southern suburbs as the fighting escalated with Lebanon's Iran-allied Hezbollah militants. UN peacekeepers reported ground combat in southern Lebanon as more Israeli troops crossed the border.
What's the average price of gas today?
Who cares?
$3.16 or $4 for premium?
Did you just ask yourself a question?
Are you talking to yourself?
You had answered it. Yeah, that's weird.
I just,
The Department of Justice.
Both those monkey bunkhouses.
I'm telling you.
The Department of Justice, which has been criticized for withholding files about Jeffrey Epstein from the public, now plans to release a new batch of documents relating to Epstein, quote, fairly soon, according to DOJ sources. All of this comes one day after a House Oversight Committee approved a motion to subpoena Attorney General Pam Bondi to question her about the DOJ's handling of its investigations of Epstein and documents about him that is required by law to be released to the public. Representative Nancy Mace of South Carolina said in a post on X this morning, AG Bondi claims the DOJ has released all of the Epstein files. The record is clear. They have not. Mace, in a blistering remark about Bondi on This Morning to reporters, said, I have a lot more questions, and I don't expect to be talking about the stock market. So she'd better not bring those notes when she comes to the Oversight Committee. That comment referring to Bondi telling members of the House Judiciary Committee last month that they should be talking about a strong stock market and not the Epstein files. U.S. Representative Tony Gonzalez yesterday acknowledged he had an extramarital affair with a former staffer who later died by suicide as the House Ethics Committee investigates allegations involving their relationship. The Texas Republican, who is married with 6 children, said the relationship with married staff member Regina Santos Aviles, who died by suicide, was a mistake and a lapse in judgment. He added, since then I've reconciled with my wife Angel. I've asked God to forgive me, which he has. And my
How
faith
do you
is,
know he has, pal?
And my faith is as strong as ever. Would your guys' wives reconcile after that?
No.
No, I'd be
No?
probably
I'd be
dead.
sleeping on one of your couches in
That'd be
the garage.
that'd be a non-starter.
House rules prohibit members of Congress from engaging in sexual relationships with employees under their supervision. Santos Aviles previously had served as Gonzalez's regional district director. She died by suicide in September of last year. Authorities said she set herself on fire outside her residence.
This is a terrible story. Did she do that because she was distraught that this guy reconciled?
I don't think there's any note or anything, so I don't know.
That's a shame.
Wait a minute.
Seriously, that's horrible.
John, did she do it in front of his resident?
No,
And this
in front
guy
of
wants
her
to
house.
continue to be a politician. There's
Third
no
rail. Third
character
rail. Is that
anymore.
third rail?
Go away, you idiot.
Hey, God's forgiven him. Leave him alone, will you?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Kenny
God, leave him a note,
asked a good question.
No, John answered. It was in front of her house.
Her house.
And she
Not
set
his.
herself on fire?
Correct.
Yeah.
Oh, my.
U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission has approved its first construction permit for a commercial nuclear reactor in 8 years, one that will allow a Bill Gates-backed company to build a sodium-cooled reactor in western Wyoming. TerraPower filed for the permit in 2024, and construction is now set to begin within weeks. Completion of the up to $4 billion plant is targeted for 2030, according to TerraPower. Microsoft co-founder Gates, who was eyeing nuclear generation as a power source for the electricity-hungry data centers behind artificial intelligence, is a founder of TerraPower and is its primary investor.
What was the name of the woman who set herself on fire?
How about Gatesy with that Epstein file stuff, huh?
Yeah, he's all right.
Regina Santos Aviles.
I see.
Regina.
And the congressman's name was?
Tony Gonzalez.
What state is he from?
He's from Texas, I believe. Yes.
Democrat
Texas.
or Republican?
He's a Republican.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't have any courage or character. He should resign.
Well, the people need him, Joe. The people need him to stay.
He had a big shaker in Louisiana. Did you see that?
Saw that, Johnny.
4.9 earthquake rattling Louisiana. Struck 36 miles south-southeast of Shreveport. The earthquake happened around 5:30 in the morning, our time. There have been no immediate reports of significant damage in the area. Earthquakes of this magnitude are rare in Louisiana. Since early December, northwestern Louisiana has recorded 8 earthquakes, but none of them nearly this heavy. They've ranged in magnitude from 2.6 to 3.1.
I don't believe it until I see it officially from Stacy.
You know why she didn't respond and tell us about that? And I'm going to give away a little bit of her personal life, and I don't
would
care.
Like to know.
She was on a tour of Muscle Shoals Sound yesterday.
Man.
Is
Well,
she
she's
ever
in
home?
the area, for Pete's sake.
Muscle Shoals Sound.
Right.
Who gives a rat's ass about anything when you're hanging out there?
Yeah.
Is she ever home? That's
No,
all
not
she.
very-
That's all they
not
do
very.
is go on trips.
She's retired.
She's
John,
retired.
John, thank you.
You're welcome.
If you go to EcoFund Motorsports today, there's 2 locations, Forest Lake on Highway 97, immediately west of 35, or down in Burnsville on the Service Road of Life. Either go there today, tomorrow, or Saturday. You could be riding Sunday a new electric bike when it's going to be 60 degrees.
Oh, I'd love that.
The snow is off the streets. The ice is off the streets. And right now, electric bikes are on sale starting at $899. 400 electric bikes in stock. Over 130 motorcycles on display, including Moto Guzzi V7s on preseason sale starting at $71.99. I'm thinking I got it in me to have one more bike.
I think you should
know,
purchase a bike so they can bring it to ports elsewhere than St. Paul.
You want to get something for the water? EcoFund Motorsports has jet skis and wave runners. If you buy one, you get a $1,500 trailer to go with it. I've seen the trailers. They're wonderful. These seasonal offers will come and go quickly, which makes right now the prime time to visit EcoFund Motorsports in Forest Lake and Burnsville to take advantage of the savings. And it's a great website, too. In fact, it's a dangerous website because when you're on it, you're picking out 10 things you need. EcoFundMotorsports.com.
Here's a man who spends hours in hardware stores, sifting through the nuts and bolts of life. Joe Souchere.
Hey, Jimmy.
Yes.
What are your favorite snacks?
I like my nuts.
What's your favorite kind of We Are Nuts?
The hot nuts.
How about dill pickle?
I like the spicy ones with the wasabi because I like to pretend that I know Japanese and I say wasabi. That means hot. I like my nuts hot.
Well, Jimmy,
Are you nuts?
you should go. Do you go to Fratelloni's?
Well, if Vogel's was still around,
Oh, they'd have been a prime
would be an
candidate.
end
Hey,
cap for
Mr.
We Are
Vogel,
Nuts.
do you sell the We Are Nuts brand?
Well, they don't sell them. Are they still around? Are they still around?
Vogels?
Yes.
No,
They're long closed. Okay.
Brian Vogel's running around somewhere.
Go to Fratelloni's Hardware and Garden Stores, Max Hardware. Talk to Jimmy. Go to Kowalski's Market, Lunds and Byerly's, Cub Foods, County
Spicy?
Market, and get the spicy ones.
Yes.
But also 700 different Quick Trip locations and Coburn's, by the way. I forgot to mention them. They are the official homes of We Are Nuts and wearenutsmn.com. But you know what? You can also order it online. On the website. And if you go to the website, see every single different wonderful snack that they have to offer. Like I mentioned, the original toffee peanuts are pretty tough to beat, but the cherry trail mix is
Can
tough
I
to beat.
order it on my Commodore 64?
Yes, you can.
That's my computer.
If it has internet access, Mr. Vogel, you can do it there. Anyway, wearenutsmn.com and
64.
let them know that you heard about them on the Garage Logic podcast. Woof.
You know, I don't want any kids to get hurt. Save all the children. But I am hoping.
Are you giving us this disclaimer? This disclaimer. However,
the world's largest acidic geyser is erupting in Yellowstone after years of silence. It's the acidic part that gets me.
Oh.
I wouldn't worry if it was just a geyser. This is the acidic
I don't
geyser.
like the. I don't like that.
And
adjective.
it's stirring. It's called the Echinus geyser, located in North Geyser Basin at Yellowstone. It's around 660 feet across. During the 70s, she would erupt up to 90 minutes at a time, blasting hot acidic water high in the air.
I'm looking at a picture of it right
But
now.
now it's back in, it's erupting again. There was only one eruption recorded in 2018, one in 2019, and two in 2020. Then activity suddenly stopped. And now, of course, the fear is that this is some indication of the big one, which I'm really hoping for. Again, I want all the children taken somewhere and protected. But I want a boulder the size of a Buick to start landing on me. Let's go. Let's just end this. Let's end this.
The odd thing is,
call it a day.
Let's just end this.
That's in Yellowstone, right? As I'm doing my research.
Yeah.
So that's the one out west. That's the acidic geyser. But if you are in New York, you have to be very worried about the Hasidic geyser that spews religion. Yes.
God, that was a long way for that.
The Hasidic geyser.
What do I drink when I'm looking at the Hasidic?
Hebrew light. No, Israelite.
Thank you.
Let me just tell you something.
Right now.
This is stirring the conversation. That is this a sign of more impending doom? And, of course, no one knows that. But I'm rooting for it.
So-
I'm just, what the hell? Why not?
But what does that mean, the acidic?
If we could
If
take
it
all
will
the
it burn you?
children and vulnerable people out of the state of Minnesota, I wish all the debris would just fall on Minnesota. Just end Minnesota. The kids are gone. The kids are safe.
Do you have an age requirement? 16 and under? Is that what you mean by kids? Or
Well, selfishly, I'd make it 24 and under.
okay, all right.
24 and under.
Gabe, you make the cut.
Yeah. And then just take us out, because this state
We're ready.
doesn't deserve to exist in the first place. So
But what does it do? It just acid?
it's like orange juice or something. I don't know.
It's similar to vinegar or
Vinegar.
lemon juice.
Yeah.
I'm reading.
Yeah.
But it's not going to burn. I mean, physically acid.
So it's almost like apple cider vinegar, which that guy squirted on Omar, and that story magically just disappeared.
Yeah, where's that one?
I wonder whatever happened to that guy.
I'm shocked that we haven't learned more about it.
Mary Moriarty dismissed it.
It's almost like it wasn't staged at all.
He got charged.
Well, did he, John? Where is
Yes. He was charged the next day.
And we were
fine. Where is he, John?
We were outraged
Let
for
me
about
look.
5 minutes because of that whole story.
Wonder what he was paid for that.
A lot of money. We do have a statement from your president, by the way. President Donald J. Trump, a couple of minutes ago, said, "I am pleased to announce that the highly respected United States Senator from the great state of Oklahoma, Mark Wayne Mullen, will become the United States Secretary of Homeland Security effective March 31st. 2026. The current secretary, Kristi Noem, who has served us well and has had numerous and spectacular results, especially on the border,
Do you thank her for her service, if you know what I mean?
will be moving to be the special envoy for the Shield of the Americans, our new security initiative in the Western Hemisphere. We are announcing on Saturday in Doral, Florida. I thank Kristi for her service at Homeland.
She got a promotion.
We invented a job
We
for
we
Christy.
invented a whole new bureaucracy for her.
I got news
John to
for-
get another plane.
I got news for all five of you. She can have any job she wants.
Well, you know what? You're over the hump on that one. She is so no-go zone that it's unbelievable.
Kind of makes it more intriguing, doesn't it, when she's no-go zone?
You know,
No,
that poor
it
woman
doesn't.
who set herself on fire, that's no-go zone.
You guys, you realize you don't even have a chance with your own wives. Okay?
Right. Yeah.
So why are you even speculating?
Right.
I mean,
We
come
get
on,
shut
man.
out at home.
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
You know?
Only
I
because,
wasn't interested anyway, man.
only because they come to us.
Kenny's right.
Only because they come to us all the way from Penguin, Tasmania, from the Traveling Linemen. It was on this day.
Joe, today is March 5th.
Wow.
In 1814, Norman W. Kitson was born in Sorel, Canada. When he arrived in Minnesota in 1834, Kitson made money by developing trade between St. Paul and the Red River and served as a legislator and as mayor of St. Paul. Late in life, he built a mansion in St. Paul on a trail that led to town. To accommodate those accustomed to following the trail, Kitson left his front and back doors open for folks to pass through. The Cathedral of St. Paul is built on that site.
Really?
On this day,
March 5.
in 1852, farmers in Benton County formed the state's first county agricultural society. Oliver H. Kelly, who later founded the National Grange, was one of 10 charter members. County Agricultural Society members shared information about stock, seeds, fruit, and farming practices. On this day,
March 5.
in 1853, Minnesota's territorial legislature incorporated the St. Paul Mutual Insurance Company, forerunner of the insurance giant St. Paul Companies, the state's oldest business corporation. On this day in 1853,
March 5th.
on this day,
March 5.
1853, 7 counties were formed. The hell with them. On this day,
March 5th.
in 2020, the first confirmed case of COVID-19 was reported in this state.
I believe, wasn't it in Carver County?
I don't know. No items posted
go to
for
Heights?
this day in sports disappointment history.
We didn't lose.
Thank you, G. Ellers. It's been a rough day.
What
Thank
happened
you.
to the St. Paul companies?
They're still around, Matt. Thank you.
Please do us a favor. If you have not done so already, join the thousands of subscribers on the Garage Logic YouTube channel, where you can watch the show each and every single day, starting right around noon. And you can also see full segments. There's video shorts. There's even behind the scenes footage. Just search Garage Logic, that's 2 words, on YouTube, and search for us on all of our social media channels. That includes Facebook, Instagram, and X. And you can also sign up for the Daily Logician. That's an email that comes right to your inbox each and every single day, and it includes the most recent episode of the podcast. You can find out more and sign up today online at garagelogic.com.